Stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bless you.
Wait,
the dad's on.
All right, 3.0 is to approve our meeting agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Agenda's approved. 4.0 are acknowledgements and recognitions. We don't have any specific ones this evening. So we'll move on to 5.0, which is our recognition of visitors and our community comment section. So welcome visitors. Glad to have you here for the May 2024 business meeting. In the room, glad to have you, and online. And community comments is an opportunity for the public to address the school board on an item included in this agenda in accordance with guidelines printed at the end of the agenda. And we have nobody signed up to speak this evening, so we can move on to 6.0, which are our reports. And the first one up is 6.1, the principal report. Mr. Belangi, hello.
Hello, good evening, everybody. So for my final principal report of the school year, we just got just a lot of things that are happening these last few weeks. So elementary, kind of a reflective point, we individually recognized 195 Sawtooth students this year for just demonstrating those junior Viking values. We did that monthly at student assemblies, where we'd get to call the kids out on stage, up to stage, give them a certificate and give them an intentional shout out for the good work they're doing in school. So that was really positive experience for all of our Sawtooth students. And then the rest of the year, we've just got a ton of things coming up. We've got special lunches. We're inviting parents in to have lunch with their elementary students. So we've got first and fourth grade tomorrow, second and third grade next week, pre-K next week. We had kindergartners in fifth grade yesterday. Kindergarten's going to the law enforcement center tomorrow for a field trip. Fourth grade's got a week at North House coming up next week. We have our Sawtooth music recital coming up on the 24th. So there's going to be a special 2 o'clock performance for parents. First grade's got a field trip. We've got our field day, kindergarten graduation, and fifth grade graduation on the last day of school. So a lot of busy things happening in Sawtooth. And then kind of the same for Cook County Middle and High School. I'm sure Lexi will touch on a bunch of stuff, but the big thing coming up this week, we have our AP art show Friday night, tomorrow night at Studio 21 from 6 to 8. So our 5 AP art students are putting on a show of the work that they've done this year. So that's open to the community. And then next week, our big event is our Senior Scholarship Awards Night. We'll be recognizing about 28 seniors for different scholarships and awards that they have earned this year. And then, yeah, just the big thing for the community is a graduation ceremony that's only a few weeks away on Saturday, June 1st, with a parade to follow.
Great. Any questions?
Award ceremony is
It's an evening.
6:30 evening, yep. And so next week, Wednesday, they'll start at 6:30, open to the public.
auditorium, right?
Auditorium, yep.
Great.
Are all the scholarships announced at that time?
Correct. That's when all the scholarships and awards, yep. And honor grads and all that stuff, yep.
Okay, thanks so much. Yeah, good luck rounding out the year in the home stretch here. Nice work. Okay, 6.2 is the superintendent report. Mr. Lindholm.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to say good work to Mr. Belangi and Maria Burnett for the Grand Portage Awards night that we had last night up in Portage, where all of the students, kindergarten through seniors, were honored, those that are part of that community. So that was a really fun event, and thanks to Portage for food. They provided the main course and the cake, and then everybody brought salads and all the other things, all the fixings. And we ate well. I was worried because it was packed. All of the tables were full, the bleachers were full, and I thought we're gonna run out of food, but we didn't. We never ran out. You said spring concerts, I think, are coming up on the 20th, so that we got that. And then the last thing I just want to highlight is in my written report, you can see a summary or a kind of a report from Lisa Sater, who is the mental health therapist with Greater Minnesota Family Services. That is a position that was new last spring, right? I think, yeah, we brought that in mid-year last year. So this is our first full year having that person here, full-time, fully engaged in the work. You can see in the report that her work is needed. She's full on her caseload. She has a waiting list. And Greater Minnesota Family Services has posted for a second position to work here in our school if we can find the person to do it. And the even better news is, in a recent meeting with the Northland, Northeast Service Co-op, East Service Co-op, right?
No, it's
No,
not
no,
Northeast.
North Shore Collaborative, Arena Ireland. Sorry, there's too many acronyms.
All of a sudden I could.
Yeah, the North Shore Collaborative, a decision was made by the governance board of the North Shore Collaborative to provide off the top of their funding, $10,000 to Lake Superior School District and $10,000 to Cook County each year for the next 3 years to target mental health. And so the cost that we will incur for a second person from Greater Minnesota Family Services has already been covered by that funding source from the North Shore Collaborative. So it's a win-win.
Is that the same as the North Shore Healthcare Foundation?
Different.
No, so it's
Different, yes. This is a collaborative between Lake Superior School District, Cook County School District, Lake County, Cook County, and well, that's probably it.
Yeah, that's it.
The big entity.
And Grand Portage is there.
And Grand Portage is part of Cook County, and that collaborative is able to capture what's called local time study dollars. So some of our staff participate in these minute checks. It's federal funding. It flows into the collaborative, and then the collaborative disperses it back to the public entities that are part of it. And this was a decision the board made, which is exciting. I just want to point out, if you read the report, you'll see that she's participated in several suicide assessments and several really high stakes things that demonstrate the need for that service right here on site, where our kids can access that when they're in a time of need. So thanks to Lisa and the expertise she brings, and thanks to Greater Minnesota Family Services for helping us get that here and off the ground just a year and a half ago. Lastly noted in my report, school board elections. The filing window is July 30th through August 13th for folks interested in running for the 2 positions that will be up in the coming election. That's all I got.
Thank you. Is there any movement on this additional position that they're trying to hire, the additional therapist?
It's posted and they're advertising as aggressively as they can. I pushed out kind of a posting on Facebook, and I'll continue to keep pushing as much as I can.
Yeah.
Getting someone here is the challenge.
Yeah. Right. Okay, well, hopefully. Any other questions or comments for Chris? Okay, thank you so much.
Yep.
6.3 is our student school board member report. Lexi Serba. Hello, Lexi.
Hi,
How are you doing?
good, how are you doing?
Great, it's good to see ya.
See you guys. School's almost over. We've only got a few weeks left. That's exciting. AP exams are almost done. I think our last one is tomorrow. That's AP Physics.
You got this.
Finals are starting and students are getting ready for school to be out for the summer, making plans. Highlights for sports. Yesterday, the track team traveled to Two Harbors for their conference meet. And something kind of like exciting we've had this year, not only like so many kids, is our jumping like crew has increased, which I've noticed. I think we've got we only used to have 3 kids and it was all boys before, and now there's more girl jumpers, and I think we've got maybe 7 kids who are jumping now. And
Where do they practice?
the floor, we don't have a pit, and so a few weeks ago, two of the girls tried like jumping for the first time and one of them sprained their ankle because she had never jumped in a pit before. And so she was like trying to like run up and go do it and she sprained her ankle. But they're trying to just jumping outside too, which works on the grass, not the concrete.
Are they doing high jump as well, or is this just long jump?
This is long jump and triple jump.
Okay.
And one of our boys yesterday, he PR'd 11 inches in the triple jump and he got first place and he broke the school record.
Oh,
Wow.
awesome.
That's cool. The boys yesterday also got sixth place overall, which is exciting. And we're getting everything ready for subsections next week and we think we're gonna have some, like a lot more athletes than we have had in like the previous 2 years make it to sections, so that's exciting. For softball, playoffs are next week and they recently beat McGregor 18-1 at a home game.
Got called in 4 innings, I think, because I showed up like the second inning. It was over quick.
That was a fast game.
For baseball,
Always take good at it too.
for baseball, I asked some kids today about how they're feeling about sports and one of the kids said that they're feeling a little bit down about their season and that they feel like they're not doing as good as they wanted to, but they say they've got a few good pitchers, so they're excited about that. Last week, we had prom for high school at Up Yonder and people said it was pretty good. We did the Enchanted Forest theme and we decorated it with like fairy lights and fake vines and flowers. It was super cute. And yeah, the junior class and I was there too. We got up early in the morning, we went and set it up and then we came back the next day because they had to be open at 11. And so we got all that cleaned up. And then elementary this month has been busy with swimming lessons and they've been learning how to use species. And then third grade has also been participating in bike safety lessons. And my last thing for clubs this month, Unified Club went to the trampoline park in Duluth with Duluth East. I heard that was a lot of fun. And for marathon, we had our sections meet in Cloquet and we have 2 teams who are making it to state. My team got second and then the other team got first,
Oh, wow.
which is super exciting.
Yeah,
And so then we've got state on Monday next week.
nice. And did you say, how many teams did you say Cook County had? Was it 3 or 4 or
We
something?
had 3 this year.
3, okay.
Yeah.
Well, good job.
Mhm. And the third team, they got 5th, and so top 4 make it to state. They were like
Oh.
half a point or a point off of
Oh,
making it. But and then our 2 teams, first and second, my team is only half a point off from getting first too. So it almost was a tie.
Awesome, nice job. And where's the state competition?
It's at Wolf Ridge this year.
Oh,
Close.
that's,
Yeah.
that's nice.
In previous years, it was
I can't remember where it was.
I'm like blanking on
Is it like Brandon over there? No.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't
So
remember.
that's quite the event, I imagine. There's, so the top, you said the top 4 make it to state, the top 4 of is
Of our section.
of the section, okay. Do
How
you-
many teams were there?
I think there was it sounds like a lot, but I wanna say there was like 33,
Okay,
Oh,
which is kind of big.
yeah,
Cause a lot of the bigger schools have like multiple teams and some of the other schools even have like Envirothon as a class. And cause we just get together and do it as a club during advisory, but they have like the whole year to prepare for it. We only start in like March.
okay,
wow, that makes it even.
We still got first and
Amazing.
second.
yeah, nice job. Shoot for you. Let's see, so our next meeting, I guess, I was just looking at my calendar, is in June, so it'll be post-graduation. It'd be interesting to get a pulse from the students on, there's a lot of like conversations kind of swirling around like cell phones and screen time and stuff at school. We we could maybe talk offline on like maybe what like a survey may look like around on that topic. It'd be interesting before school adjourns to get some feedback from students, just kind of like how they're feeling about cell phone use at school and those kinds of things.
Like about decreasing it or like how they're feeling with,
Well, how they're feeling, it would be interesting to just get a pulse for how they feel about it, just in general. There, a little bit of context, the state is gonna require all districts to have a cell phone policy of some
Right.
sorts at some point, and we'll talk about that. But it's just one of those topics that kind of comes up from time to time, and because part of the learning is like, we do some learning on screens as well, in addition to cell phones, and it's like, just kind of curious, like to get a pulse from students, like how they feel about that, those kinds of things would be interesting to do. An interesting data point before we go into summer.
I put that together, just kind of like, how do you view cell phone usage at school? Do you see it more of as like a tool or as a distraction or stuff like that?
Yeah,
Why don't you start something and then work with Mr. Belangi and I think it would be really helpful for us to know some data points too, like how much are you actually connected? How often are you distracted in class? Some of those things. Because we have to write a policy in the next 12 months, so knowing the student lens on that would be awesome.
Yeah, I can for sure put that together.
Sweet,
any other questions?
thank you.
Yeah, great, well,
Appreciate
good
it.
luck with everything, we'll see you on the flip side, but finish strong and best of luck.
Thank you. I
Yeah,
gotta
good
go
luck
home and
tomorrow.
study. I need to keep my steps.
It's just physics.
Yeah,
Just physics.
Oh, it's brutal.
Is it calculus based or algebra?
It's algebra based, but it's still like.
Oh, that's
physics
harder.
is just a.
Been there, done that.
Whole nother beast. Thanks.
All right,
Thank
see
you.
ya.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see here. 7.0 is our consent agenda. Is there anything that needs to be pulled for further discussion? If not, we just need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor?
I,
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. 8.0 are discussion and action items. 8.1 is to accept the April 2024 expenditure and revenue report presented here in the packet. Is there anything in particular you'd like us to pay attention to here?
Not in particular, but we did receive our entitlements for April, so that's why we see a boost in our revenues. And so as we finish out the school year, I think we're tracking okay. It looks, I don't know, pretty spot on from previous year and for what we were expecting. We never know our full entitlement based on our enrollment until all those numbers are finalized and the year's over, so. But things are looking good.
what is our final enrollment?
Our final enrollment for this year, currently we're at, Chris, help me out,
Give me
455-ish
with pre-K.
with
yeah.
pre-K, 455 is what we're saying. We only get so many. 9.6 of those pre-K kids are actual state aid generating. The rest, well, not the rest, some of them are tuition paying, and then some of them are
Do we know how many fully funded students we have?
fully
Like
funded.
if you take those ones out of the.
So basically take pre-K off,
just
Yeah,
like
431 K through 12. And then a handful of preschool kids.
add the 9.6.
Yep.
You
But we
get
have 460 heads in the building.
And what is it about, what bumps a pre-K kid into that classification? Is it age or some other sort of,
those numbers.
like?
It's the VPK seats, voluntary pre-kindergarten seats that were allotted from the state. So it has reduced since, and I should rephrase that. So there's so many seats, so like 15 seats, but they're only worth 0.6 each of
Funding.
funding.
And I think that's gonna go up a hair for next year.
potentially, but currently it's still at that 9.6 for
Right.
revenue.
Sure.
I think we were at 10.8.
So we-
went down.
We started the year at 426 K through 12 and we're up to 431. So we've picked up throughout the year, which is not normal. It's a celebration.
Right, right, yeah, maintained, because sometimes then we'll see, I mean, we still might see that drop off of the seniors, maybe there might be, I don't know,
I doubt it at this point.
I think we're pretty solid. So,
Steady. And we're hopeful that most or all are gonna graduate.
We're hoping.
celebration. So that's all I have for you as far as budgets. I'm working on the budget. I'll continue to do that and bring you something to the next work session to discuss. And we'll go from there.
Yeah, that'll be June 6th. Yep.
Great.
Your motion to approve. I'll
Oh,
make that motion.
I'll second that.
okay, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, thank you. 8.2 is to adopt the resolution to accept membership in the Minnesota State High School League. Which is in a packet here. Would you like to speak to this?
Just for people in the public, this is an annual process. It usually happens in June. We're a little ahead of schedule this year. So we'll approve it now and then Carrie as our clerk. And I will sign off on it and get it submitted. No, you're the clerk.
Come on now.
Yeah, that changed.
Right.
I was like, wait a minute.
It says right here, she's the clerk.
Yeah, right there. So Stephanie, I think I may have sent an email to actually absentmindedly to Carrie. I will send you this email that has, you'll have to do a DocuSign, which if you're
I could do that.
your second nature at, so you'll sign, I'll sign it, you'll sign it, and then it'll be done. After the board says, yes, we want to be members to the high school league.
Perfect. And then do we need to do any designations as a part of this? Like for members of these different,
People that sign at the
Committees.
bottom.
We usually, I have to put a board member down, and we did not do that in January, so the only time you would ever be called on doing something as the rep is if there was a no, it usually would be when the high school league has to vote on an issue that's probably constitutional per the high school league. So I've had to vote like twice in my career, and it was like adding a board position onto the high school league. And then I engaged that board member one time in a chemical use violation hearing that we had to have. Those are the only two times I've ever really tapped the board representative for the high school league. So
Okay.
take your pick who we put down there.
I'll volunteer to do it unless somebody else is wanting to,
I already have to sign it.
I'll do it.
All right. I'll put you.
I'll take the easy one.
Yeah, there's nothing in the hopper right now either in the high school league that I know of, so. Just need the
And
simple,
He lettered in 4 years of sports.
There you go.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a match.
It's relevant experience here for me, so. Okay, we then just need a motion to adopt this.
Motion to adopt the resolution for membership in the MSHSL.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Resolution is adopted.
oops, I put that wrong.
Okay, so 8.3 is in regards to the referendum discussion. So it's to approve the authorization to submit review and comment to the Commissioner of Education for the November bond referendum. And I want to make sure that we get the motion correct here. But maybe before we get to that, do you want to
Yeah,
speak to this and
For
kind of
sure.
where we're at?
for sure. So as the board has discussed over the last several meetings, we're at the point in the process for this where we're asking for a simple authorization for myself and the consultant, ICS, to collaboratively submit for review and comment to the commissioner, the project scope, and the total amount, the approximate total amount that would be bonded if voter approved on November 5th. So that's where we are in the process. Once that is done, the next step will be on June 6th, my hope, because I know all 5 board members are planning to be here on June 6th. We would get into that place where we finalize the 3 questions as we've been talking about, if that's the will of the board. I did put a link in your packet, that November bond referendum link. That link is to the slides that were put together by DSGW. And if you remember and look in there, there's 3 slides that say question 1, and then all the things that are under that, 24 some million dollars. Slide 2, slide 3. Those 3 slides were updated per our last board meeting. So when we had our last conversation as a board, there was conversation about putting the road to the bus garage in question number 2. So now that's on that slide, and that $200,000 is in that number. The 3rd question is still just the gym. And then there was a little tweak in question 1 to some, I think the FF&E budget, right? The furniture, little tweak there or no?
Oh, I think we kept it the same.
Kept it the same, okay. So those numbers now, if you look on those slides, that's what we're talking about is in those slides. But again, that'll be in 3 weeks. Tonight, the ask is just authorize us to submit the review and comment report that gets the green light for ICS to get that in the hopper with MDE. In hopes of beating some of the tidal wave of these that come to MDE in a little bit. But you want to add anything to that, Natalie?
Just a little clarification, so it authorizes us to move forward and working on it. And then if you vote June 6th to move forward with the questions, we'll submit those questions in the review and comment, and it'll be ready
All
to
at
go.
once? Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you for that.
So you don't send it in until after that next meeting?
Yeah, because they want the
Questions?
question language and what's gonna be in each question. Otherwise they'll bounce it right back or ask that right away, so we just decided, it's probably just better to wait, it's only 3 weeks. We'll get everything else done, kind of teed up, and ready to go.
So right now, we're just kind of looking at like that total scope, like total number, not broken out by question.
Correct.
We're just saying, okay, this is kind of like the boundary that we're thinking of working with it.
Yeah, in your drafted motions is the verbiage, approximate $36.7 million construction project. That word approximate is there for a reason. So that was drafted by some of these smart people, not necessarily.
Okay. And for this motion, do we need to, I assume we need to include all of this detail?
You could probably verbally say would include the items listed in the written motion, because then Kay will just translate that into the board minutes.
Okay. So I would say, I mean, we can, if there's more questions or comments, we can address those right now. We can make a motion and have another discussion too. But I think that's kind of where we're at this point.
Okay, I'll make a motion that district administration be authorized to work with district consultants to complete and submit all required information to the Commissioner of Education to request review and comment on the approximate $36.7 million construction project financed through the issuance of $36.7 million in voter-approved bonds, if approved by voters in an election on November 5th, 2024. And the motion would include the items that were listed here. Which I can't read.
I think that's probably okay. But I'll second it. Okay, so let's have a discussion.
If we're okaying this now, but we're refining it at next meeting, what's the point of doing it now and not at next meeting?
Because this gives us 3 weeks to work on it, so it's teed up, and then when you vote for the actual questions, because it sounds like you're getting close to. So if we have everything teed up, then after you vote to move forward with the actual questions, we pop them in and we send it off.
So will you come back with a few different scenarios of how they are? Worded?
Yeah, we will probably come back with how it's kind of teed up right now, with question 1, question 2, and question 3. And there's a lot of people that are involved in the actual wording, because it's gotta be looked at legally and everything, so more than likely, we will tee it up as is. If there's some other way people want to move something into a different question, then we should tee that question up.
Yeah, so
That could be-
PMA, ICS works with PMA, our financial advisors
Yeah.
work with Dorsey Law Firm.
Yeah.
Just like we did when we did our operating levy renewal. Behind the scenes, what you all don't see is they have law firm Dorsey is actually scripting everything and legalese. So they'll be doing that again for this. So if we are looking for a different type of question, we should be talking about that now so that we can get Dorsey working on it.
And I didn't wanna help spend your money unless you authorize us to work. You know what I mean? Right. So that's the purpose of tonight, is to say, okay, go ahead, start working on it, get that done.
And so to the extent that, yeah, there's more discussion around the question composition. I mean, should we be discussing that sort of in earnest right now, or should we discuss that in earnest when that's specifically before us, or should we, you know what I mean, just in terms of.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't here at the work group. You guys discussed this at length, right? Were there any unresolved kind of, I mean, I'm good with what I've seen so far.
Does Eric have any questions?
Yeah, Eric, chime in if you want to chime in. I would summarize it for you, Rena, in that, and Dan and Eric and Stephanie, correct me, but what I heard was some discussion around the fact that the road to the bus garage was taken off altogether. And Eric was pretty passionate about wanting to see that road to the bus garage put in. So that was one item that we discussed and ultimately kind of just got to that point. And then there was also contention around question number 3 and whether to even have it. And whether to have that second stall of the gym even up for the vote at all. And what I heard by the end of the night was being okay with letting the public decide that.
Yeah, leave it up to the voters, kind of.
Leave it up to the
Put
voters.
it on there and see what happens.
And I heard $200,000 for a road to the bus garage isn't gonna make or break.
Not when we're talking about like that question being a few $1 million.
Yeah, so that's kind of what the context of the dialogue was. Is that fair?
I think so, yeah.
All the rest was really just kind of like, yeah, okay.
Right. I think we put it out there and it's up to the county with how they're gonna vote. For sure.
Okay. It's kind of what I had gotten from the feedback that I got.
Eric, did you have anything that you wanted to add on this topic?
Nope, that's pretty much covers it.
Okay. Cool. Good, okay. All right, well, let's see here. We'll call the vote then. All those in favor?
I
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries.
I gotta write that down. 3.
Thank you. Okay. Let's see, 8.4 is to approve the resolution to accept donations for April 2024. As presented here in the packet, and is this for, well, it says April here. Let me make sure I've got the correct month. May.
Mr. Chair, would you mind if I pause this for a second and come back before we move on from the vote?
Yes,
I just want to tee up some thinking for board members
yes, please.
with the help of Natalie while
Okay.
you're here. I've emailed Dan a little bit about the need for if there's gonna be an advocacy group to advocate on behalf of the referendum to start getting organized. As you all know, I can't do that on the clock, and we can't do that at the board table here. But as citizens, you all can, and I've talked to a few other people, but just to help you with my train of thinking, and I've shared this with Dan, but I want everyone to be on the same page. I've learned that a really big deal in Cook County is fish pick weekend. And which is unique because it's just a big deal here. So I think if there's a vote yes advocacy group that's organizing and they want to be engaging on the weekend of fish pick, we need to think backwards on the lead time required for ordering yard signs and buttons and things that we would be handing out as part of that weekend. Obviously, we'll follow it up with open house, and homecoming games and all of those things, but that weekend just grabs a wide group of people. So what I'm trying to say is there's a sense of urgency here to call together an organizational meeting of the advocacy group. So I've asked Dan for his thoughts about who can we tap, and it can be board members as well, to say I will lead organizing a time, place, date for an organizational meeting, and then all of us can help tell people to show up and be part of that process. But we need a couple people to take charge and set a date, set a place, organize people. We can't use any district funds for all that stuff, so it would have to be, part of the discussion is who pays for the yard signs, who pays for the buttons, how do we raise that money? But I'm thinking that as soon as if the board says yes to that on June 6th, I'm thinking as soon thereafter as possible, convene, so the things that we want to order can be ordered. So be thinking about who are those people? I've obviously got names in my head, but you all are way more connected than I am, with key corners of Cook County. Anything to add to that, Natalie? Am I on track with that?
No, I think you're on track.
Okay. And then there's a certain amount of, like, what's our theme, what's our branding? That's up to that committee to decide. But we can certainly provide informational items like some of the stuff from the Vikings Vision website and some of those graphics. Is that correct?
Mhm.
Okay. Sure. Any questions? I just wanted to get that out there for Stephanie and Rena, who were in your email thread, and and Eric.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, we should all think about that and we'll circle back on it. So perfect here.
Sorry to cut you off on the
Oh, no.
donations.
No, that's good. Okay, let's see, this is actually, I said April, but this is actually May. So resolution to accept donations for May 2024, and they are in the packet here.
That's a big special ed donation. Wow.
Usually it's like Kathy's coming,
It's amazing.
because John Peterson's sister Kathy.
That was fun.
Got it.
Nice. Yep, so we just need a motion to accept the donations.
I'll make a motion to accept the donations.
I'll second it.
Okay, any further discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Resolution is adopted. 9.0 are personnel items. 9.1 is our new hires, resignations, leaves of absence slate for May.
For a point of information, because this is a little unusual, speech language pathologist is a very hard to hire position, and we've had a position posted for my entire 3 years here, still do. We hired Haley a year ago or 2 years ago at a 1.0, and she is asking to be reduced to 0.2. It's her request, not ours, and she lives in Canada, to be clear. What she wants to do is really serve the Grand Portage community and not come to Grand Marais very often, because she has a private company that she provides services to people up in Thunder Bay. So she doesn't necessarily need to work with us, but she loves the kids in Grand Portage and wants to continue doing that work, and we're happy that she does. So this means we will be relying more on, unfortunately, virtual speech language therapy, like we have.
So I'm a little confused by what you just said. So she's gonna switch to working more for Oshkie, or do you mean by Grand Portage students at ISD?
Grand Portage students, well, a lot of her caseload is at the Head Start. And then she works pretty much all of
On
her
our Head Start, or?
Yeah, in Grand
Oh,
Portage.
huh.
Yep, she's been working closely with Margaret this year especially. And then she has a fair number of Part C students where she goes into the home and she works with Rachel Lichty and others with families up in Portage. So that relationship has gotten a lot better, and I think she's just like, you know what, I just want to focus on these families that are a lot closer to where she lives.
Yep.
Sure. So is this a position that we would then post again, like
It's
for,
been
it's
posted.
still been posted?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
posted and it'll stay posted. We always, of course, would prefer an in-person SLP rather than virtual services. When we don't have an in-person, we backfill with virtual.
Sure. Okay. All right, well, yeah, I mean, I guess we're happy that she's gonna continue to
Right.
work in some capacity for the district.
I think she will also work with some Part C families in Grand Marais and other places. And by Part C, I'm talking about kids that are like 0, 1, 2, and maybe 3 years old, the babies.
Sure. Okay, and that's all that we have on the slate for this month, okay? Great, so then we just need a motion.
Make a motion to approve the new hires resignation leave of absence report.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye, those opposed, motion carries. Just need a motion to adjourn,
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
adjourned at 5:44. Nice job, everybody.